Hey, what's going on? It's Jason Lucchesi with the No Flipping Excuses show. Thank you so much for taking some time to be with us today. You're in for a very special treat. We have a good friend of mine that's going to be joining us here in just a moment. She's going to be chatting with you guys, talking about a deal that she closed here not long ago. Now, before we hop into that, I just want to make sure that if you're on YouTube right now, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. That would really help us with getting the algorithm all in place and other people being able to see this video. And as always, we'll continue the conversation after this video concludes down in the questions area, the chat section below, and make sure that you give us that big thumbs up as you are becoming a subscriber to the channel. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast player, make sure after this recording ends that you give us a 5-star review. I'm 100% sure you're going to do that, especially after hearing the case study that we're going to be going over with Merydith today. But other than that, I've got my good friend Merydith Cohen. She's joining us. She closed a deal, and we're going to be talking about that deal today. But Merydith, how are you doing?
Hello, Jason. I'm doing great. Hello from Las Vegas.
I love it. I love it. Guys, if you see her background, she's got Vegas all back there. I miss it. I want to go back. Maybe once I get off of this whole deficit diet thing that I'm doing, I could come and splurge at some buffets or whatnot over in Vegas, see some shows finally. But Merydith, so excited that you are with us here. You were recently at our in-person mastermind event. I finally got to meet you in person. You attended a lot of our challenges over the years, and I'm like, I hope she signs up this time. And finally, you got involved on the most recent one that we did, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be able to work with her because I'd always see you on our VIP sessions, and I'd be like, I wonder if she's going to join. And you did finally. And it worked out pretty well. So Merydith, for people that don't know you, can you share a little bit of your background? How long have you been in the business? And what market are you mainly focusing on?
Sure. So I've been in the business since 2006. When I started buying short sales. And right after I bought short sales and became a great landlord, I went into fix and flip. And I stayed in fix and flipping for years and years and years. And I also continued working in short sales to help homeowners with the situation that was going on, prevalent at that time of, that we were experiencing. So I've been in the real estate industry for a while. And now I have the opportunity just to open up the doors to something different, which was your program, which I thought was going to be highly valuable. I love working with people and giving them value as a client. And I thought this would be a perfect entryway for me to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember before you got into real estate, you were in the jewelry business, right? Because I remember the story that you were saying your son would come with every once in a while. It sounds a lot like what I would do with my mom too. So you weren't always in real estate. You had another career before real estate, and I love that you shared that at the mastermind. And you and I both have the short sales in common, because that's what I did from '08 until 2012. And we still do it every once in a while, but not at the level of that time, because it was obviously it's pretty chaotic during that period. Yes, it's changed. The landscape's changed, but I would love to bring that back here towards the end, because there's some things that have been kind of rumbling in the market, and I'd love to chat with you about that. So for folks that are watching this as well, so you're also a real estate agent, correct?
No, I was a
Not
real
anymore.
estate agent in New Jersey
Ah,
for 18 years.
okay.
Since I've left for Las Vegas, which was a year and a half ago, I had to drop my license because they don't recognize the license here in Las Vegas. So I am no longer a realtor. But to be honest with you, Jason, and I think you'll agree, you don't need to have your real estate license to do this.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. You already know what I was going to say from being on the trainings and stuff. Like if you already have it, great, but you really don't need it. I've been doing this, since 2008 full time, and I don't have mine. I think I actually went though, Merydith, and did the hours and stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to go and take the test. I'm not really a great test taker. So I just decided to give that the old, sayonara and didn't want to proceed forward. But let's hop into talking about this deal. Now, you sent me an email talking about this, and I read the whole thing, and I was like, wow, this is a great one to talk about. It's one that you really needed to be an advocate to this person, because this gentleman was in a position to where it sounds like he was kind of clueless on what was going on. It sounded like obviously he was in a tough spot, but tell us a little bit about this one. This was a tax delinquent deal that you got. How did that person reach out? Were you out like door tagging? Were you dialing for dollars? Like, how did this lead come in?
Sure. So this lead came in through direct mail. And normally I allow all of the people who respond to direct mail to go through my answering service, so that it seems more professional, more real, rather than me picking up the phone and saying, hi. So that's how this one came through. This gentleman did not really reveal himself completely, as most people won't at the get-go. But he did reveal that he was experiencing a very big issue, and he didn't really know what to do. He did not hold a really great job. Basically, younger guy. I'm not exactly sure how young, but my assumption is his late 20s to early 30s.
Okay.
And here he inherited his grandmother's house, where he had lived at a part-time situation. I'm not exactly sure, but he knew the house intimately, which means he had an emotional connection.
Yeah.
And emotional connections are tough for any of these people. And most tax delinquent people who come through to me are emotionally connected to their house.
Right.
So he really didn't know what to do, and he really wanted to keep the house, but he didn't know how. So you had given us some options, of which, based on my experience in the real estate industry, maybe did not match exactly to where I could put him.
Yeah.
But we have to start a conversation. And in order to start a conversation, you have to give these people some options. And so I gave him an option, and I gave him a couple of options, and he picked one.
Because he wanted to stay, right? He initially wanted to stay.
And what I want to emphasize is that he wanted to stay because of A, the emotional connection, and B, because his cousin, who he was very, very close to, like a sister, really pressed on him to keep the house.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, who am I to tell him otherwise? Let's keep the house. That's fine. So we actually signed a contract and put a deal together on the contract where there would be an opportunity to hopefully stay in the house.
Yeah.
I say hopefully because there's no guarantee when a house is sold to an investor what they want to do.
So with this particular one too, before you actually went and saw it, so was this a deal in the Vegas area?
So I apologize for not saying
that. You're fine.
This is a virtual deal.
Right.
I don't do any deals in Las Vegas for tax delinquents. So this was done on a virtual deal, which means I didn't see the house and I had no clue. And I didn't even offer a Zoom call to this guy until much later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and I'll let you get to this here in a moment, but I like reading the stuff that you put in the email. I was like, wow, okay, that was some interesting stuff that popped up. So what Merydith is talking about is like when we have the tax delinquent stuff, like most of the people that you're going to talk to, especially when you go through the training and all that type of stuff, they are, like Merydith's saying, they're very like emotionally connected to that house, that property. So we have three options that we try and present to them. We try and present a winning solution to them. Number one is going to be a lease back option. Two is a rent back option. And then we have three is a 30-day standing cash offer. And I know in this case, you really were trying to help him to where he could have a good success path to having the property back from an ownership standpoint with the lease back option. But why don't we dive more into that? Why did you find out like he's more than likely not going to be able to do the buyback with the lease option in place? Like kind of, let's talk about that, because this is where I think it turns and you start realizing, oh my goodness, I need to pivot here and kind of restructure this thing.
There was a definite pivot moment, or moments, I should say, because as I realized putting out the contract, which was in the contract for assignment, that there were not cash buyers who wanted this property as a landlord.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So we know in the real estate industry, there are properties to flip and there are properties to buy and hold. This, because of the price point, was not really a buy and hold. So it really turned into a fix and flip based on the issues, which I had yet to know exactly.
Right.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So that was not revealed, but what I did know was he didn't have cash flow. And now with the option of giving him a lease back, there is definitely a situation where he is going to get very upset because the investor is going to say, sorry, we've given you 12 months and now you're done.
Yeah.
And that's a bad situation, an upsetting situation to put a client in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and because I'm more mindful of not just doing the business, which obviously you could just do the business, get your assignment fee and say, see you later, which we can.
Right.
I didn't feel that fit. And so.
Because you have integrity.
Yes, I had integrity. Yes. So I flipped the situation because I realized at that moment where I was at and how I had to change it and change his mindset.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So when I actually sent the photographer prior to knowing that I had to market this property and put it on the market, I saw everything that was going on for the first time because this is a virtual deal.
Right.
And I had never entered the house. And I'm flipping through the pictures. There's 25 of them and I'm flipping. I'm going, wow, this is a cool house that I got under contract.
Yeah.
It's in great condition. However, slide 23 and 24 and 25 proved otherwise.
Oh, no.
And when I hit those, I went, oh my God, we have an empty pool in the backyard that has been empty apparently for years with weeds growing out of it.
Yeah.
And there's a downed tree, which possibly could have happened recently, who knows? And
Right.
along with it came down electrical lines, which were just about hitting the ground. Now we've got a major situation.
Yeah.
Major. So there was a lot more going on. So that's when I knew we had to change the deal.
Yeah. So
talk walk us through, obviously you're pivoting at this point and you're talking to the individual that they're the heir, they got the property, they're the owner of record now. And they're in a position to where you're kind of letting them know, like, this isn't like a situation that we could just, snap our fingers and it improves overnight. Like, this is a situation where you felt like, as an advocate, as a professional, like this wasn't going to be something to where he could just, in 12 months buy the property back, even if it were at a discount. Like, it sounds like he just wouldn't have been in a position to where he would have had a clear path to ownership again, even if he could go and get a loan. It sounded like it wasn't going to happen because the house also needed a ton of work. So walk us through how you approached this, how you talked to the owner, and, how you were able to kind of, walk them through, like, hey, I think this option is going to be really good for you.
Change mindset. Right.
Yeah.
So what I explained to him was, whoa. And I called him, and we had a very easy conversation consistently.
Yeah.
I said, whoa, I didn't know you had such a big problem in the backyard.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
How long has this been a situation? And he said, well, it's been for a while. And so I said, you inherited this house a few years ago, and this situation was already in existence. He said, yes.
Yep.
I went, okay, so let's talk about the electrical wires. He said, well, that was pretty, that was like 6 months ago. And I said, okay, how come it's not resolved with the electrical company? He goes, I keep on calling and they won't come out. Or they say they're going to come out and they don't.
Right. That's tough.
Hey, book your free strategy session call today by going to 2daycall.com. That's the number 2daycall.com. We'd love to talk to you about how we're tapping into 34 plus lead generation off-market strategies in your market. Most of them too are free. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can help you and your business thrive right now. Head on over to 2daycall.com. Talk to you later. Bye. So yeah, to walk us through, you were talking about the grandmother to him and all that. So what'd you change in his mindset to where he, was able to talk to you about the other option you had?
I said, your grandmother gave you a great gift, and she really, from her heart, felt and knew this is what she could give to you.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to take it as a gift in a different way.
Ooh,
and let's
I like that.
Let's monetize this property so that you can use it for your future rather than having to worry about fixing the issues of this house.
That was good, Meredith. Good for you. That was really good. I was like, wow, okay.
So I said, so your grandmother would be proud that you took this house, did the best you could, and now you're going to use her gift, which was huge, as a stepping stone for your future. So let's do this. Let's put the house on the market and maybe turn your life around. Look for a place to live after this is said and done and start on a new path.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow. He's like, I really have to think about that. He goes, I think that's something I need to consider. And I said, okay, so let's do that. Let's put the house on the market as a sale rather than a lease with an option to purchase or a buyout, however you want to call it. and let's move your life forward.
Yeah.
And you take that money and you invest it. If you need help with that, you'll tell me. I'm here to hold your hand. And let's invest it into your future rather than investing in problems with the house.
Yeah.
And
I really like that.
Ultimately, he said yes. And it didn't take long.
Now, Merydith, when you say put it on the market, you're talking about like getting it out to your cash buyers. And I know you mentioned Craigslist and all that type of stuff. We're not talking about listing it on the MLS. We're just talking about getting it out there to cash buyers.
That is correct. Still putting it on the market for sale.
Yep.
And I said, it's not something my company can do. We don't buy houses, but I can certainly help you by putting it out there so that it will be taken by an cash investor who will give you the cash quickly, because you don't have time at this point to wait around for a real estate agent to put it on the market. Now, I guess I should have emphasized that he had a date where the county was going to take back his property, and he already got a red tag.
Oh, no.
So that gave him, at that point, and he did not have the red tag when I initially spoke with him, but he got his red tag not long after.
Wow.
And he was ultimately motivated to not lose the house, lose money, and not get everything that we had just spoken about, which was build his future.
Yeah.
So he was on board. He's like, okay, I don't have any options now. And I said, unfortunately, you do not. So let's move forward. And so we did. So that's how that happened.
Wow. I'm the stuff. So for folks that are listening, that's exactly how you do the pivot. If you need to, if something comes up and you're not able to do your initial option, a lot of people, Merydith, might throw up their hands and be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything here. I like how you got involved and you said you changed the mindset. I love how you phrase that, because some people might be like, I convinced them or I persuaded them. I like how you said change the mindset, because I'm not really big into trying to persuade people to do something, because then you're trying to get them to do something that they may not really want to do. But if you try and change their mindset and have them think about it in a different way, I like how you said, you know, what you did with the grandmother there and investing in the future and the gift, like that right there. Like, it starts having them think about things and really kind of sleep on it and really marinate on it. And I like how you did that. So kudos to you. That was a fabulous pivot that you did with helping him course correct. That was awesome. So we're at the point right now. We've got the deal now. It's solidified, and we're trying to get it, you know, off the shelves per se. What are you doing right there? Because yeah, for folks that don't know, from the red tag standpoint, you have a very limited amount of time at that point, days, if not maybe weeks, and then it's gone. It's ripped out from underneath them. It's gone. There might be an opportunity to get what's called excess proceeds. Some people may know that more as like tax overages, but some cases don't allow that. Some states per se, but you're at a point, you're kind of in somewhat of a crunch. But so what happens now?
I put it out there with marketing and I get nothing. And I'm like, well, if I'm getting nothing, my understanding is if it's a good deal, people will come. So I'm like, I need to change my price. First things first, I know I'm in a good area. I know it's a solid house. It's a solid deal, but the price is wrong. Guess what? I go back to him and I go, listen, I am sorry, but we're not getting interest. I need to change the price.
Yeah.
And the price I originally gave you, which I really, really tried to move up,
Yeah.
is not possible. So my original price that I gave you, we have to go back to. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. And he was like, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. And he was upset, and I'm like,
Sure.
nothing I could do. But we moved on.
So let me ask you this. Let me interrupt. What was the difference, the renegotiation price? Because some people out there, how much? Okay, so it wasn't like a small chunk of change. It was 20 grand. Okay, so $20,000. You did a renegotiation. Let me ask you this. Obviously, you felt bad that you had to do that, but other than that, was it a difficult thing to do? Because some people out there might be like, I don't want to do that, but in some cases, you really have to do that. What was that a hard thing that you had to do?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, let's continue.
I'm
on.
a business owner. We can't get too emotional on
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't control the outcome of somebody else. All you can do is control what you can. No, so cool. So you get the renegotiation, you're able to drop it. What happens from there?
From there, I remarketed the property now with no landlord, because I was looking for landlords who
Mhm.
wanted to do leasebacks.
Yeah.
And we could get no one. So I took that off the table and said contract for sale, changed the price. And the first thing I got was a wholesaler who contacted me. And he said, I can help you. At that point, time is ticking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do what I have to do. This is not about me. This is about getting it done.
Right.
So I said, okay, what you got? And he said, I've got cash buyers. He said, and I will advertise it furthermore, but I'll do it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Something I did not do because I'm not a great Facebook kind of person, but I'm like, okay, cool. I started getting hit one after another with cash buyers.
Yeah.
By the way, I made a deal, obviously, with this wholesaler to JV.
Yeah.
So he's motivated, I'm motivated. All the cash buyers are hitting me, and I'm having a heyday because now I'm building my buyers list.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart.
It's huge.
Yes, it is.
That in itself is paying me back for giving up half of my JV, right?
Of course.
So I find several cash buyers and I talk to all of them. He talks to maybe 2 and I talk to maybe 10. Doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm good. And I send one of them, a local guy and this is the perfect guy who's done deals in this neighborhood. He goes, I want to come over and see it. And I went, okay. There's a lockbox, which, by the way, I had delivered to my seller via Amazon a few days prior. And I said, put this on the door so that I can let our buyers in. He knew exactly the deal. So he was totally aware there were buyers that were coming to the house.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry, I'm going to walk them through the house. First buyer came through and he was like, all good, I'll walk through the house with you. So he did. I got to see everything through his eyes. And now for the first time, not just in photos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being that I've been a fix and flipper all these years, I understood all the issues. And I'm like, okay, well, we're in the right place now.
Yeah.
He didn't take the property. However, I did have other cash buyers interested, and I gave it to a cash buyer who offered a good deal for my seller,
Yeah.
which was staying on the property for 30 days, charging him not as much money as other cash buyers wanted to charge him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that works. As long as they hold up their promise, we're all good. And so that's how I got to choose the cash buyer. was not
Wow.
because of me, but
That's
because
awesome.
the seller.
And from that deal, because you had to obviously you did a 50-50 with the JV, you grossed on this deal a little over 15 grand, correct?
That is correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Merydith, you did a great job, and I'm so proud of you. With that, on that particular deal, so you never actually saw the property in person? Okay. So you never saw it in person. How much time do you think you spent on that particular deal?
It was really more time on the phone and texting. A
Yeah.
lot of texting because that's what he liked to do.
Yep.
And so how much time? I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe like what do you think? Like 5,
few
10
hours.
hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So 5-10 hours, and even if you did half of that and you pulled in 7,500, you're making more than $1,000 per hour on that particular deal.
Got it. You got it.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it, Merydith. You knocked this one out of the park. And this gentleman, he called you because of the tax assistance marketing you sent off, correct?
That is correct.
So
Because
have
of
you
and your
experienced-
training.
Okay. Awesome. Have you experienced like inbound leads like that before?
No.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that feedback. And I know I wanted to circle back here. I know we're cutting it short here on time, but I just wanted to ask you, because of your year's experience in the business as well, with the Fed rate cut that just happened here recently, everybody's like, oh, interest rates are going to drop. And most people don't understand that that's not what that means. What are your takes on that? Because the last time they kind of did something crazy like that was even before COVID. And then even the last time before that was 2008-ish, like right around there. I don't have the exact date in front of me right now. So hopefully people that are watching this don't roast me for that. I'm not giving the exact date, but what's your take on that? Do you think we might see some more short sales here? Do you think we might see some more inflation? Like what's your take on that moving forward? Like, do you think more people are going to get delinquent, not just on property taxes, but on other things?
That's a very good question. I don't think personally that short sales will increase based on this.
Yep.
I do feel that people who go delinquent, they will always there's always going to be a percentage of delinquency, no
Yep.
matter what the rate is. I don't think it's the rate. I think it's just people in general.
Yeah.
Who now, because of what we're experiencing for several years now and what is going on with the economy, I do feel that people are having a harder time, way harder time to afford what they used to afford, which they can't afford now.
Right.
So I think tax delinquency will continue, probably even more so. Short sales, because during the pandemic, there was such a run on housing,
Mhm.
and people were buying at 2.7%.
I know.
Stupid numbers.
Yes.
I think going down the line, there will be a continuation of short sales because they bought them so short
Yeah.
with no equity and such a low rate
Mhm.
that this will repeat again. Short sales will repeat again, but not yet.
Yeah.
And that's my take on it.
I agree with you. I don't think the short sales will be at the levels that we saw before, because most of that happened because of adjustable rate mortgages that expired, and because of the rates at that point in time, they just skyrocketed. People went from a 6.5% interest rate, and then the ARM adjusted to like a 9.5, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, can't make that payment anymore. I don't think that's going to be the problem moving forward. I think it might actually be something else. Consumer credit card debt is crazy high. I believe last time they checked, it was over like $2 trillion, which is outrageous. But I do also agree with you. Tax delinquent stuff, Merydith, I think that's going to continue. I think that's going to continue to escalate because you know this too from doing a campaign and talking to some people. Most of these folks own the property free and clear, and they are in a position where they're on a fixed income. So people on a fixed income right now are just getting raked over the coals. And if inflation continues to go up, it's just going to get worse and worse for those people. So right now, in my opinion, I think tax advocates are going to be so much more needed, more so than ever. Because I don't have a crystal ball, but I do feel like it's going to continue to increase. I don't know at what percentages, but it's like a feeling, kind of a similar feeling that I had back in like mid summer of 2007. I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to end well. And it didn't. Yeah, it didn't end well. So Merydith, I just want to be mindful of your time here. Do you have any parting words for our folks that are listening right now that, maybe give them like a burst of motivation or inspiration from this deal that you did?
I am going to say, there are people who I have still stayed connected to with the group from our mastermind, and they're doing wonderful job of calling and just hang in there. Yeah. Keep on pushing because these people need you. And I've given them my thoughts of how things should be. If you can't help them one way, help them another way.
Yeah.
Just keep on pushing. And this is a great niche to be in. It really is. And it feels so good.
It does.
That's another thing. If you have a lion's heart, this is such a great niche to be in. So keep on pushing, keep on helping people. That's what it's all about. And you will get back, as a result, the rewards for doing that.
Awesome.
Merydith, you rocked it out. I really appreciate you joining us today. Now,
Thank
folks,
you, Jason.
If you have any questions, you could drop them below. I'll make sure I will do my best to get in there and respond to all of your questions below on YouTube. Make sure you give this a video a huge thumbs up. Merydith knocked it out of the park with her deal. It's awesome that deals are getting done. Make sure you become a subscriber. Click that little red button. I believe it's like somewhere around here. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast player, make sure you give this a 5-star review. Again, Merydith did a phenomenal job. So proud of her for doing this. But other than that, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Get out there, get some deals done. If you need any help, you can always reach out to us. We're here to help. Have a great day. Take care. Bye now. Hey, go grab a copy of our brand new book. We'd love to put this in your hands. The Art of Flipping Deals. You could go grab your copy today at theflippingbook.com. Make sure you head on over to theflippingbook.com. We'd love to get this in your hands today and show you exactly how you could get free exclusive inbound leads in your business today. Make sure you head on over to theflippingbook.com. Take care. Bye.